Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandra. Today I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I plan to read this month. So this is my April TBR, and also a couple of these are new releases for the month of April. So I'm pretty excited to be talking about the books I'll be reading this month. Grab a blanket, get cozy. The weather has been really dreary and rainy over here, which I typically don't complain about because it makes for the perfect reading weather in my opinion. So I have my stress relief tea. My husband is out of town this week just for a couple of days for a work trip. So again, single parenting it this week with puppy and kiddo's first soccer game is today, and I'm hoping it gets canceled for muddy fields. So fingers crossed, just for my sanity. At the beginning of this year, I talked about how I didn't want to set really concrete goals for myself in terms of reading just because I don't want to put that kind of pressure on myself. I like to read for me. I don't like feeling pressured into buying more books or reading other books just because that's what the trend is doing. But also, on the other hand, there's this sense of like FOMO because the part that I love about the book community is the fandom part, and so when there are new releases, whether it's a TV show or a book, I always want to be in on that fun and excitement around something like that. There's also that part that I grapple with. But give yourself some grace if you're like me, because there are only so many hours in the day. We have busy lives, and ultimately you should just do whatever makes you happiest and doesn't stress you out. I also have been playing video games a lot lately, so there is a cozy kind of game called Palia, and it's so much fun. It's cross-platform, and so I've been spending a lot of time playing that with my son and husband, which has been really adorable and fun in itself. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake, like the Rebirth game, which is like part 2 came out, so I dipped my toe and started playing that the other night, and that has been fun, and I hope to play more of that. Again, just do whatever makes you happy. With that said, I'm going to talk about my first couple of books that I plan to read this month. Gizmo is in here. He's muddy. I won't let him on the bed because he just went outside, and he's covered in branches and just looks like a drowned rat. This is a book that I actually started a little while ago. It's by Cixin. He's a Chinese author, and it is book 1 in a trilogy. It's called The Remembrance of Earth's Past is the series name, but this one is The Three Body Problem. There has been kind of this scramble to read the books because of the Netflix adaptation that just came out a week or 2 ago, which I binged that entire series, and it was so good. There were a lot of demographic, like ethnicity changes from the book to the show. I feel like the heart of the story, at least what I've picked up halfway through this book, has been really authentic to it. I'm looking forward to finishing this one. It's one of those books that I have to be in the right headspace for. It's hard for me to keep track of the timelines and the characters, so it requires my full focus, and as a busy mom, that's not gonna happen unless a miracle happens. So yeah, but I plan on finishing this one. And then I believe on April 9th, Mark Lawrence has a sequel book for his library trilogy that is coming out, and I have not read the first book yet, which I don't know why I keep putting off reading Mark Lawrence's books because he's one of my favorite authors. He has really emotional writing, very deep thought put into it, and I love his storytelling style. So book 1 came out last year, I believe, and it's called The Book That Wouldn't Burn. And then the book that comes out on April 9th is The Book That Broke the World. And so I plan on digging into this series. He is so scheduled in how he writes his books, so there's not going to be a long wait at all for the third one. So I feel like I can go ahead and read these 2 books, and I won't have to wait long for the last one to come out to remember all of the things that happened. I know next to nothing about this book. I've just seen reviews of it where people say it blew their mind. I am looking forward to it, and I just think these books are so beautiful too. Even the next book, it's like a blue color, but it's the same kind of design as this. It just looks so good. So I plan on reading these. And then Leigh Bardugo, who has quickly become one of my favorite authors because of Ninth House and Shadow and Bone. She has a book, I think it's a standalone historical fantasy type of book. Maybe I'm wrong about the fantasy part. Historical fiction, but I know that she took a lot of inspiration from her ancestry, so I'm curious to see how that plays out, but it's called The Familiar, and again, that one's out April 9th as well. I really love her adult book. Shadow and Bone is very juvenile. It almost strikes me as middle grade. I have videos that I've talked about that trilogy here, so feel free to check those out if you want. The Familiar is one I'm super excited to read, and hopefully I can, talk a little bit about it in some kind of April vlog or maybe like a dedicated review. This next book, I feel like it's on everybody's TBR for the month of April. When Emily Henry drops a book, everyone picks it up and reads it. Toward the end of April, Funny Stories coming out. A lot of people didn't love Happy Place. I really enjoyed Happy Place. I thought it was one of her more grown-up stories to date. The protagonists were not perfect. They were not in great points in their life at all, and I just thought that the depiction of the relationship between the two of them was so real. I know a lot of people read for escapism, so I wonder if it just wasn't different enough from real life for it to really strike home with a lot of people, but I, for some reason, just really enjoyed Happy Place. Out of all Emily Henry's books, probably my least favorite is People We Meet on Vacation. I'm just not a big friends to lovers person. If anyone watching out there has some good recommendations for friends to lovers that might change my mind, feel free to suggest those to me because I'm still open to it. I just have never read a book with that trope that I've loved. At least more than enemies to lovers. Come on, nothing is beating that. And then to change gears a little bit, I do a podcast, a story related, it's mostly romantasy centric podcast with my best friend Tara, my high school best friend. For March, we read Trial of the Sun Queen. This month, we're reading this month we were reading The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. Tara and I both talked and we really enjoyed the pacing and storytelling of Trial of the Sun Queen. So we're thinking about reading Rule of the Aurora King, which is book 2 in that series by Nisha Tuli, and then talk about it in like a dedicated video over on the Story Darlings channel. So I'll be sure to link that too in case you want to follow over there. I'm excited to continue that series. It's like Throne of Glass meets The Bachelor and it's so fun. And then the other one, The Ever King, I don't know much about it. I know both The Ever King and Trial of the Sun Queen, like that series, they're both on Kindle Unlimited, so definitely pick those up over there if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. The last book I'm gonna try and get to this month, there is a Prime Video adaptation, just a movie coming out starring Anne Hathaway called The Idea of You. And so on my Libby borrows, I have The Idea of You by, I can't think of the author right now, Robinne something? But I want to read The Idea of You. I like the premise of the story. The essence of the book is it's like a late 30s or maybe even 40-year-old mom of a teenage girl whose favorite band is August Moon. She goes to take her daughter to the show and ends up running into like the lead singer or one of the singers of this band, and then this kind of initiates a forbidden romance between the mom and the band member who is several years her junior. And so I don't know, I love Anne Hathaway. I love everything Anne Hathaway has ever been in, so I'm really curious to pick up the book, read that, and then watch the movie and just compare the two and see which I like most. So my April TBR, very quick and easy, very low pressure. I just want to enjoy all of the different things and dabble in different genres, so very low key for me, which is the point. We do this for our own enjoyment. Anywho, if you're watching till the end of this video, drop me a fingers crossed emoji that I survive the next couple days with just, my kid and my 2 dogs because I need it. Let me know what you plan to read, or if you've read any of these, what you thought, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye.